So advertisements for children is something that children go by. If you have any child, small child, if you have advertisement of pizzas or something, they want pizza. They are very affected by the media. So junk advertisement has a strong impact on food choices, and associated with increase obesity. So junk food should not be advertised at all. I recommend ban of recommends the ban of advertisements of junks because it is associated with increased obesity. On-screen TV channels, websites, and social media, and print newspapers and magazines. And there should be advertisements that ridicule healthy foods need to be banned. So whenever there is an advertisement that says that the junk food is better than healthy foods, that should be banned. This should be legally banned. They should be punished. And the celebrities doing these things should be told not to do so. So endorsement by celebrities for healthy foods and water. Promote endorsement of celebrities for healthy foods and water. Explore that is how this can be done. That is what should be done. Guidelines for marketing: promote tax discounts for healthy foods and beverages. Pub discounts for large portions and multiple purchases of the HFSS, and consider direct GST on HFSS and healthy foods beverages. Ensure availability of healthy food menu in the markets and restaurants, and curb counter-clock availability of junk foods through the mobile apps and the Swiggy and all that. It should not be available on easily. The behavioral change then is very difficult to come by, and communication is something that is required. School-based interventions are more effective than home-based, and schools promote healthy diets, highlight the harmful effects of unhealthy foods, and organize poster essays, competitions, debates on junk foods. Parents should allow healthy eating and act as a role model. It's very difficult to change behavior of a community of parents and about. It's very difficult. So that is something that requires repeated messaging and repeated CMEs and workshops and things like that to ensure that healthy food is taken by all children. Diet versus exercise. True secret of weight loss is exercise with diet. Is that what's the secret of trimming fat and shedding pounds? So before you take a bite of that calorie-filled, stop and ask yourself if it's worth it. That's important. If you're going to take a high calorie food, you must check out whether it's worth it taking that. And exercise alone will not shed your unwanted weight. So this diet plus exercise that is important. Diet 20% exercise is the key to weight loss. So diet is very important along with exercise to reduce your weight loss. In pediatrics, after the recommendation is shown that to ensure wide promotion dissemination of guidelines to all, and that's what I'm doing today, that the guidelines should be reach everybody, and that's why we're doing this session as part of the IEP program. Advocate government agencies, the FS, you all are one of the agencies that could do it. In front of front of the pack traffic light labeling for junks. That's something that we must try and ensure. Advocate including these guidelines in school curriculum. It should be part of the teaching process in schools, and they should be aware of the problems of junk foods. Avoid sponsorship for makers of junk foods, and no junks and snacks is something that should be entailed in conferences. So this is the healthy food and junks. We have a parent guideline. It's also part of the IEP action plan. So nutrition of school-going children is something that is guidelines is also available, and for healthy food items and snacks for children, these are something that we must make sure that children understand. These some of the good things in healthy foods are snacks from healthy food groups. These things should be sprouts, nuts, cheese, curd, yogurt, and fresh fruit, or vegetables, idli, upma, apple, pancake, and poha. Pressed rice. These are used as snacks. And for meals, sliced fruits. End of meal, dessert should be sliced fruits, fruit custards, yogurt, or homemade banana bread, nuts with honey, and these are the desserts after meal. High calorie sweet stuff like cakes, chocolates, and sweets must be served on special occasions like birthdays only. So healthy breakfast is important. If lack of time, take portable food from home and eat on the way to school. Fruits, peanuts, butter, peanut butter sandwiches, roti roll, or some drinkable tiffin. Suggestions to parents are that parents have to change their habits first and then set a standard. So there will be a good role model. Bringing up a child is not easy. It will be 24 hours of a day, 35, 36, 365 days of the year. It will be good behaviors. Something that's very difficult to be a parent. Teaching a child how to eat healthy is a lesson for life. So that once they start eating healthy food and they continue to eat healthy food throughout their life, they're going to be healthy throughout life. That's what's happened. The old days, we never used to get all this food. That's why we're still healthy at 17, 80. I don't know how our children are going to be when they become 17, 80. They're going to be really problematic if they're not going to have, you can keep away from junk foods. Make meal time, family time, and screen time free. That is important. Make healthy foods fun, differently shaped salads, etc. Make the food on the table look attractive. Ensure that there is a healthy breakfast every day. It's possible that if you can cook together and ask for the menu each day and prepare the menu according to your requirements, the child can be part of the decision making when food is served in the day. Don't keep junk foods at home, no cold drinks or in the refrigerator. Keep a bowl of fruit handy for a snack and wash your hands and make sure that food is prepared and stored safely. So the key messages are junk foods are slow motion disasters. Stay away from them. Outside food not more than once a week. No SSBs less than 2 years and see caffeinated drinks less than 5 years. Home foods always better than Western foods. Encourage better eating habits in children. Entire food permit rests on the water bed, increase water intake, and involves in cooking right from the early childhood. Who looks healthier? Right. This is the one who looks healthier than this. So human body is aptly compared with the temple of God. So you need to worship after you worship God, you must worship your body, and it's important. Final word is that the global surge in obesity and diabetes is not due to failure of willpower to resist fats and sweets and exercise more, but it's due to the failure to make bold political choices which may take on powerful corporates like the food and soda industry. This is a mafia. It's a mafia, the food and soda industry, like a lot of mafias that are going around. This is one of the mafias that need to be curbed, and a bold political will is required for that. Governments can understand this and realize this duty. The fight against obesity and diabetes can be won. Interests of public must be prioritized over those of corporations. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. It was an eye-opening session for the most of the parents. You clearly made us to realize how our love and consumption pattern harming our kids. Thank you so much, Doctor. Irrespective of your busy schedule, you made us to understand what are the hazards of junk foods. Thank you for your valuable time and precious notes on hazards of junk food. Thank you once again, Doctor. Now I invite Dr. Kavita from state of Tamil Nadu for a concluding remark about the session. All dear participants, kindly note there will be an interaction section after this concluding remark. So you can either ask doctor after unmuting your mic, or you can post in the chat box. So you can ask your queries to doctor after this concluding remark. Note that. Over to Dr. Kavita. Welcome you, ma'am.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, you are audible. Please continue.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, ma'am. And good evening, Dr.Jeeson and Professor Thomas and all our OFSSA participants. Doctor, thank you so much for the effects of junk foods, which are killers for the present and future generation. We are given a very clear picture to all of us and all the parents. And also, you have made it very clear the preventing measures of protecting the youngsters from the burden of all unknown diseases. Your guidance speech is so valuable, and we promise to follow your advices to save the children and the nation. Thank you so much, Doctor. We will promise that we will take our full effort and render our service to avoid these junk foods and bring in our traditional foods to the present and future generation and save the nation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the concluding remarks. Now, this is a time for interaction. If you have any queries, you can unmute and ask, or otherwise, you can post your queries in the chat box.
Good evening, Dr. Jeeson. I'm J. Kavita. I'm founder of Abdul Kalam Manavar Muneta Seva Sangam in Chennai. I approach all the schools and visit their canteens and speak to the principals to serve to the children all valuable healthy foods. But they are not even responding to that, doctor. Is there any way that through OFSSA we can approach them, madam?
I think so, because it's very, very difficult to make behavior change in anywhere, because the parents have to be involved. You get to the PTA, talk to them about the problems with the food that is served in schools, and I think that it will work. Because the PTA is something that is very strong. If you can make the PTA understand the importance of not serving junk foods in schools, I think it will work, because it happens in most of the schools that I've gone to, talk to the PTA, and they are very, very active in preventing this hazard. And I think we should look at that area, because unless the teacher or the principal is very, very cued on to this issue, they won't. They have so many things on their head, and this is something that is not important to them. They don't think it's important. This is not something that affects the school curriculum or the marks that they're worried about. The school health of children is not their priority in most of these parents and principals' heads. They have to understand the importance that they are responsible to every child in their schools is something that they should take care of, and if they are understanding the problem, I think they will cooperate. Like for instance, for learning disability, when you do work on learning disability, you do life skills programs. Unless the teachers and the principal feels that it's important for these children, they don't give you time to talk to these children or to the parents. If they're interested, they will definitely call you, and they'll be interested in changing their school canteen menu.
I am specializing on traditional food, doctor. But even the samples I cannot carry to the school, neither for display or for giving it to the children once in a month at least. I don't know why they are all scared. They are very scared about this healthy food.
No, it's not that. It's that children are not accepting it. When the children don't accept it, they don't want to be on the wrong side of children of this. They're concerned with. They want to just make them happy in all other ways except areas which they think that is important. That's why. So unless they understand the need to promote healthy foods, it will not happen. Children are more, like we said, because junk foods is like thrill. It's a little kick that you take. You get a kick out of having a little sugar or fat. You get a kick. It gives you a feeling of that you're full and you feel happy. So that is something that the traditional foods don't provide you unless you're really using that from age 6 months onwards. What I am telling parents, new parents, is that you start feeding your children, start with giving fresh fruits and vegetables. Don't give sugar, salt till 1.5 years of age. Don't give non-veg food till 1.25. Give only should start with banana, apple, mashed apple, then rice. Best absorption for the small babies, rice. Rice and dal. 2 parts of rice and 1 part of dal is what is best for protein, because all the amino acids is not the amino acids that make a protein is not there in dal, is there in rice, and that is not there in rice, is there in dal. So mixture of that is one of the best. Khichdi set in the north we give khichdi's. That is what is most palatable and most good for protein absorption. So you start that, then you add potatoes, carrots, beetroots, 25 grams, spinach, and all that to the diet one by one. Every 5 days, add a new taste. So by 10 months, the child is used to all of fruits and vegetables, and once the palate and the taste buds are conditioned to a particular taste, they will continue to eat that. See, introducing these vegetables and fruits and other healthy food later in life is very difficult, because the child is already used to the non-veg foods and a lot of sugar and salt. If they start early or finished, they're not going to take it. It's going to be very difficult to introduce new foods after 1 year of age when the individuality is developed and the child decides what he wants to eat. If he is a Malayali likes food from with coconut oil as an ingredient, fried. But in the north, it's mainly the oils are different, and therefore the Malayali may not like the food in the north. Or you go to Singapore, you won't like the taste there sometimes because the tastes are different. And what you're conditioned to, you'll continue to eat. So that's something that we must inculcate early in life. Very difficult to change behavior as an adult.
Doctor, as you said, the celebrities are also misguiding us. I request also, like pediatric doctors, to come forward and help us to give an awareness in kindergarten schools and all schools and colleges.
Yeah, I think we have these programs in schools. The problem is the school they don't have enough time. They're worried about curriculum. So we used to teach children on teachers on what study skills and life skills and how to pick up children with scholastic backwardness, learning disability, and those how to inclusion of children in schools, like children with disabilities, include them in schools. The teachers are so overworked with their work. They're so overworked that they don't have enough time for anything else, and they don't give us enough time to talk to these children. So this it's very difficult to get an hour every week at least, or 1 hour at least once in 2 weeks from these schools because they're so packed with curriculum. That is a problem with the most schools. They don't unless the teacher and the principals are keen to include these in their curriculum and life skills, which is so important for children. It's very difficult to get into schools. That's something that we must consider. And if it's a law, if there is a law that this has to be taught in schools by then only it happens. If CBSE or NCRT says that there should be this many hours on junk foods, on proper healthy food, only then it will happen. Otherwise, it's very difficult for pediatricians to get into schools and teach. But we're trying.
Thank you, doctor.
We have this Sankalp Service Shiksha Abhiyan, this Sampurna Swasth. There's this program for this year. National President Dr. Subhendra, IP National President Dr. Subhendra, Sankalp Sampurna Swasth is a SSS, is a school program which we're trying to do in all schools. Healthy food is one. Diet is one of the components of that. 5 components. One of the components is diet. So we're trying to get these through to all schools, and we're trying to get the government to introduce this in schools.
Thank you,
Thank you,
doctor.
doctor. Thank you, doctor, and thank you, Kavita ma'am. We have two more questions in the chat box. One is from Sophia. Can I read, doctor?
Yeah, please.
Sir, are health mixes available in the market good for children? That is the question from Sophia.
Health mixes mean like what? Like can Sophia tell me what this health mixes is all
Okay,
about?
can you tell? Please unmute and speak.
See, you have these.
Excuse me, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
It's basically the powders that we get. They claim to be nuts and fruits and certain mixes of certain spices. So how do we judge
No,
if
no.
it is
See,
suitable, sir?
it's better to give fresh fruits and vegetables. The children should understand the taste of fresh fruit. See, when you get these in the you have Navadhanyangal or something in that is in the government program. You have these mix of fruits and of nuts and all that. Now the child doesn't realize what taste he's taking. It's a mix of a lot of fruits. That's why I would not advise you to give kurkar, the cereal gruels like the ragi and banana powders and all that for children because it's something that you're giving continuously every day. There's no change. There's no change. You're saying the same thing every day, and you don't know what the taste of these health mixes are because they're a mixture of lot of foodstuffs which the child doesn't recognize which food he's taking. You should have separately. You should teach children how the taste of each of these foods, like banana, apple, all the vegetables that is available, rice and wheat and all that separately, so that they understand the taste and the taste buds get accustomed to these foods and gets conditioned to it. There's no point giving these health mixes. Now, for those who are in the low social group, maybe it's possible, it's okay because government is providing it. When there's no other food available, it's okay. Otherwise, it's better that they also use traditional home foods when introducing food to children.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, doctor. There is one more question from Archana. Shall I read?
Yeah.
Could you please suggest remedies to overcome the ill effects of junk food?
I've already mentioned so many remedies. One is the school programs, one is parents modeling, one is the food labeling, advertisements, the celebrities advertising, the punishment for ridiculing healthy food. There's a lot of stuff that can be done. It requires a lot of propaganda, and it requires to go against food and mafia. It's very difficult to go against the mafia because they're making millions of money. They're already pots of money they're making on these junk foods, and to go against them is very, very difficult. It's like going against the drug mafia or the land mafia. It's very difficult to get something done against them. So it's something the political will, unless the political will, is very difficult to get through to them. But we have to try.
Thank you, doctor. Hope the questions are over. If anybody has any other questions, you can ask or you can put in the chat box. I hope it is over.
Yep.
Any more questions?
I'd like to thank Dr. Soumya and the organization for this lovely session. I hope they benefited from it, and I hope the organization can do something about it. And if there's anything that we can do, IEP can do, the Pediatricians Association can do about it, please let us know. We'll try and help out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much for all your support and mentoring. Thank you. And we are moving to the concluding session. OFSSA vision represents our logo itself. We are dreaming for a day that our children can happily have an apple without the fear of pesticides. I invite our living logo, Grandmaster Tirtha Vivek, for the vote of thanks. Over to Tirtha.
Good evening, all. I am Tirtha Vivek. I am so happy to express my sincere gratitude on behalf of OFSSA to Professor K.B. Thomas and Dr. Jeeson Unni for providing us with the valuable information on problems of junk food. I also would like to thank all OFSSA national and state leaders and the coordinators for organizing this national webinar. The success of this webinar is definitely the participants. I thank each and everyone joined in this national webinar, and I request your continued participation in all upcoming webinars. Let our webinar series to be the milestone to build our nation healthy. Vande Mataram, JFSA.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tirtha. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all for the participation. Thank you, doctor, for your valuable time. Each and everyone contributed for this. And not only the awareness from the part of the government, also there is many legislations are needed. So we can go together in order to make it change. Doctors like Jeeson, Unni, and many others are trying hard to make us to aware about the ill effects of this unsafe food. So we can hope for a good day. Thank you all once again, and we are happy to announce our next webinar will be on May 27th. It is on the topic foodborne diseases and its precautions, causes and precautions. That is our next webinar. So we are expecting your continued support and participation in the upcoming webinars also. Thank you so much. Thank you, doctor, once again. Thank you all.
Bye.